This was the one. This was the one where you looked ahead and said, if there is going to be a team in the East that gives us the most trouble, it is this Florida Panthers team, and we finally get to see this great matchup. Once again, the Rangers are an underdog, but what does that mean? They were an underdog in the Hurricane series, and went up 3-0. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jay. 14 hours and counting, man. I can't wait, and certainly the fact that the Rangers kind of got rid of all the bad feelings from last year. Now get ready to start the Eastern Conference Final. It's been a great run. It's been a great season, and I fully expect this series to be combative, to say the least. The Florida Panthers are very, very much like the Carolina Hurricanes. They play the same style, lots of shots on goal, man-to-man defense on, man-to-man coverage on defense. They also have a top-end goalie, a better goalie than Frederik Andersen, the one that we just saw for Carolina. Igor has been playing out of his mind. I expect Filipino to be in the lineup tonight. It's going to be a full-on team. And here's the thing. Here, to me, is the one key about playing Florida. I would say that this team is filled with agitators. They agitate. They want to get in your face. They want to fight. They want to get you to cross-check. They want you to high stick. They want you to board. They want to get you in all sorts of kind of like physical, emotional mindset that is going to lead you to the penalty box, because that's where they are deadly, much like that's how the Rangers are deadly. And when you think, I told you yesterday, Sam Reinhart, and the amount of power play goals he has had, the last thing you want to do if you're the Rangers is get into like, one of these scrum type of series where your top end talent is being locked up by guys that are cross-checking and spearing you and things of that nature. That's the way they play. They've got three guys in their roster that, are often penalized, and Matthew Tkachuk being one of them. You'd love him on your team. You hate playing against him because he's a guy like Brett Burns was for Carolina. He's just going to be in your face the whole time. And I know that there are Ranger fans out there that want Matt Rempe on the ice. The last thing that you want to do is put Florida on the power play. And that killed us this year. If you look at the three games we played against them, Reinhart was deadly on the power play. And the last time we played them, Barkov wasn't even in the lineup, and it took an overtime victory. So I just say you got to play with a cool head. You got to do exactly what you did with Carolina. You got to keep moving on offense. You need to be skating with this team. This team can skate as good as anybody in the NHL. And it is going to be fast and furious. Jody Shelley, who was doing that Carolina game, that game 6, he was saying this game is fast and furious down here. Well, I think all of these games are going to be fast and furious. And the one thing that Florida does, just like Carolina, they throw a lot of pucks at the net, and they keep other teams from getting the puck to the net. So there'll be some frustration on the part of the Rangers, and I'm sure all of us as fans. But this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out kind of series.
And I think that's the reason why the Florida Panthers are probably favored, as you talk about the shots on goal that they have gotten, the limited shots on goal that they give up, and what we saw from Igor and what he had to face in the Hurricane series. 50-some-odd shots, just craziness. These chances that the Hurricanes got, the fact that he had to be an all-star for a majority of the series for the Rangers to be able to win the series. And that's what it's going to come down to. Is he going to be just completely overtaken by an offensive barrage, and the point where you're looking at the shot disparity and saying that's not good, that's not sustainable? Or are you going to see a more normal shot total at the end of these games where you had to make 1 or 2 great saves as opposed to 7 or 8?
Yeah, when you listen to Steve Alquette, it's the high-danger chances.
High danger.
And Igor has, I think, faced 63 high-danger chances in this playoffs already. And I think it's one of the reasons why it tends to, the national media that covers the NHL tend to favor Florida because of that particular stat right there. And people are wondering, how long can, Igor continue to do what he has done, especially against a team like this. So, if the Rangers start this game tonight in the first 5 minutes and take a penalty, we'll find out how this series is going to go. But, if they press and they push and they forecheck, because that's their strength, and they do have a great power play, that's their strength, and their penalty kill has been unbelievable thus far in the playoffs because the Rangers have strengths too, believe it or not. I mean, if you tend to read all these things, it tends to favor Florida, but then all of a sudden you get to the bottom of all these different articles about the Rangers, you start saying, well why can't they win? I mean, they have their own goal scorers. They have scoring throughout their lineup, just like Florida has scoring throughout their lineup. You've gotten everybody chipping in. You know, the top players have had the most points for both of these two teams. And that's why I think it's going to be a great series. I really do. I just hope that, you know, in the case of the Rangers, you know, that Game 5 against Carolina was such a flat game, and they lose that game in the third period after going in 1-0. I just hope that one of those games doesn't pop up for me as a Ranger fan. I don't want to see that. I want to see balls to the wall, edgy, but I also want to see smart hockey. I don't want to get caught up in the muck in the corners with these guys and take stupid penalties. And that's most likely why Rempe's not going to play.
Yes, and that's going to be a definitely something to keep an eye on with Philip Hedl, who's going to get another opportunity. And it's tough with the concussion stuff, and I know they've kept it close to the vest, but at any moment that could crop back up. He could feel great for a couple of days. He could feel terrible for a day, great the next day. So you really can't count on him, but that's going to be an X factor, just like you've talked about the entire postseason. If he is back and healthy and consistently playing, the depth of this team and the role in the four lines and really being that solid from top to bottom Stanley Cup contender changes, but can you count on that for a full series from a guy that just has not been around?
I hope so. And, you know, he played in Game 3 down in Carolina, and I knew that Peter Laviolette did not want to have to put Matt Rempe on the ice down there in Game 3. And I know the record when Rempe's in the lineup is great. I mean, and he is a presence. There's no question about it. But he's also a liability. That's why they don't play him in the third period. So having all four lines going and having the veteran presence on all four lines and having guys like Barclay Goodrow and Jimmy Vesey and those guys out there playing and playing, you know, major minutes when I think about 10 to 11 minutes and penalty killing. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. As the great Dave Maloney has always told me, it is special teams and goaltending in the playoffs. And I think we've seen that from both of these teams. Don't get me wrong. Both of these teams have that going for them. But if the Rangers do get Filipino back, it just adds more depth and more speed and more scoring opportunities for a Ranger team that, you know, when you think about the bottom two lines, they don't get a lot of great scoring opportunities, but they do the dirty work, which allows the top two lines to end up scoring most of the points.
Well, if special teams and goaltending get it done, that's where the Rangers do have an advantage. Not that the Panthers aren't good at those things as well, but the Rangers' power play can be lethal. We see the Rangers on the penalty kill create more chances sometimes with a man disadvantage than they do 5-on-5. So that's great. And obviously Igor Shesterkin, when he's at his best, could be the best goaltender in the league. So if that really is the thing that puts them over the top, you know the Rangers at their best can do those things better than just about everybody. So, I mean, this is going to it's where's your confidence, though? Because I think most Ranger fans have a quiet confidence. They don't want to be outwardly too brash about it, but they know the Panthers are a very formidable opponent, but also every single time you've needed this team to answer the bell, they have, and they didn't show up with the most points in the league by accident. So, I mean, are you sort of in that the quiet confidence in this group right now?
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, most of these series, much like we felt with the Knicks and much like we felt with the Rangers with Carolina, you know, you're going to go through some moments that aren't going to be great, and they're going to be frustrating. And I'm sure the team feels it. I'm sure the coaches feel it on both sides. You got two world-class coaches going at each other here with Laviolette and Maurice. This is the best of the best. I fully expected that this matchup was going to be the matchup, and I'm not surprised by anything. I would just say the one thing about Florida as opposed to Carolina is they play with a little bit more edge. You know, there's going to be a few elbows to the back of the head. There's going to be cross checks in front of the net, much like Brett Burns did for Carolina. There's going to be all sorts of yapping back and forth. You know, Matthew Tkachuk is going to be in the face of somebody, Mika or somebody. Kreider will be smiling at him and probably moving away from him. Nobody's going to want to drop the gloves for either one of these teams. They all want to play hockey, but the way that Florida does it is pretty impressive. But and much like Carolina, they were on the heels of the Rangers all year long, and straight up, they basically took 5 points from them out of a possible 6 points. So you got to say to yourself, okay, what do we have to do to beat them? Number one, have a full lineup, including Filipino. And number two, if you are on the penalty kill, somebody has got to be aware of where number 15 is at all times, because he is the guy that ends up, scoring the power play goals, because he is the guy that had that kind of year. I think he's had 29 power play goals all year long, which led the league. And Kreider, I think, had 18. And Kreider was great for the Rangers. So you see the disparity there, and you see where exactly their strength lies. And knowing that, you could do something about it.
Yeah, so I heard Al and CeeLo talking in the warm-up show, guessing or trying to figure out if you're going to go to any of the games in this series. And CeeLo's take on it was, no, Boomer doesn't want to deal with the craziness. He has gotten into a groove here watching this team at home, drinking his Casamigos and all of that. That was his take, that you would be bothered going to some of these games. So
I don't even know why that's even a concern of any of you here.
Well, because
why?
This would be my answer to that. You've got a long history of being in the Garden and being a fan who has had season tickets over the years. You took Gunner to just about every single game in the 94 run. So when people think of you, they think, hey, he's going to go and take in a game. And now you've got this incredible playoff run, and you haven't talked about getting in the building yet. So I think people are curious if you're going to change your routine for this year.
Yeah, back then I didn't have a 4:15 wake up call.
That's true.
What I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting. These are 8 o'clock starts.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I want to do is deal with all the nonsense of trying to get in and out of the Garden and be annoyed.
Yeah.
And be aggravated. So I will be sitting with my Casamigos, and I will be watching the game and focused in on what's going on.
Okay.
Which has been it's been very enjoyable the last 4 or 5 years. It really has been.
Yeah. And we know that whether you're at the Garden or not at the Garden, you will not be going to bed right after the game.
No, absolutely not.
You stay up for a good hour and a half, 2 hours after the game ends and replay the entire game in your head as you toss and turn, getting ready to talk about it in a couple hours.
Well, if they win, I'll fall asleep. If they don't, then we can.
No, I still feel like if they win, you like replay all the good moments in your head, and that keeps you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into it. There's no question about it. Like today, I have to go. I'm playing in Sean O'Hara's golf tournament today.
Oh, okay.
He's like, we got a dinner afterwards. I said, no. Yeah, I'm come down to play golf, and I got to get up the next morning.
Yeah,
I got to be involved here. He totally understood my situation. And I like when people understand my situation, because sometimes they don't think about our situation.
Yes, many times.
They don't realize like what it means to get up every single day. And I'm not complaining, because I love the job. The job is great. But what I do complain about is sometimes even our friends in our own lives have no idea what goes into doing this.
Yeah, like come on out, watch the game tonight.
Hang out. Yeah, be at
8 o'clock puck drop.
12 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, stop, please.
So it's nice when people understand.
Yeah.
And for the most part, most people do once you remind them what our responsibilities are.
Yeah, where is this golf tournament today for sure?
Trump Bedminster, I believe.
Okay, all right,
yes.
Nice. Very, very nice.
And then I got a call from an ex-teammate, Paul Fraze, and he and Jeff Criswell are holding an event at Mulcahy's on Thursday night. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because I'm going to be with you down in Jersey.
That's right.
Before our Friday show. And it looks like the weather's going to be great for Friday.